Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. This is me again to talk to you about a special fight that I really want to mention, and it's an important fight in boxing history. So you guys who are just boxing historians and fight fans that know your history of boxing are gonna like this one. I think I found it interesting from the first time I even heard about it, and it all started when my trainer gave me this poster here. I know it's on reverse in the screen, so I'm going to read it to you. And it says, World Junior Welterweight Championship Pryor Arguello, the rematch. So this is a poster of the rematch between these two. Here we have Aaron Pryor, the man with the fro, and here we have with the stash, Alexis Arguello. But the thing is, the two of them have a stash, so the one with the stash looks Latino is Alexis Arguello. No, Aaron Pryor versus Alexis Arguello. Or first it was Alexis Arguello versus Aaron Pryor, because the champion was Alexis Arguello and the challenger was Aaron Pryor. But first we gotta talk about why this fight is important. The fight was important because it was anticipated and it was just a big deal to be made. Aaron Pryor got his chance to make a name for himself, and Alexis Arguello was just champion at the time and had another chance to defeat another noteworthy opponent. Aaron Pryor was just dominating his weight, which was light welterweight, and Alexis Arguello, who defeated Ray Mancini in spectacular fashion, knocked him out, just was overall one of the top rated boxers in his day. And this was during the time of Sugar Ray Leonard, Thomas Hearns, Wilfred Benitez, Howard Davis Jr. In fact, Aaron Pryor, when he was an amateur, all those guys were amateurs as well. That was the era of the best American team in the Olympics. Aaron Pryor had an excellent amateur career. He won national Golden Gloves. He made it to the Olympic trials. In fact, in the national Golden Gloves in the finals, Aaron Pryor faced Thomas Hearns, and in that fight, you can watch it on YouTube. Aaron Pryor gave Thomas Hearns a standing eight count, which is a remarkable feat, because Thomas Hearns is a bad man. Thomas Hearns could knock you out no matter how skinny he was. Skinnier the better. He had a crazy right hand that would just drop a rhino. So Aaron Pryor, even though Aaron Pryor and Thomas Hearns never fought each other in the pros, Aaron Pryor was just a force to be reckoned with. So Aaron Pryor, after the National Golden Gloves, he got a chance to represent the United States in the Olympics, but he lost that chance to Howard Davis Jr. in the finals of the Olympic trials. So that resulted in Aaron Pryor sort of having a grudge against everybody, because he believes if he would have won the Olympic trials, he would have gone to the Olympics and won gold there, just like Howard Davis Jr., just like Leon Spinks, just like Michael Spinks, and just like Sugar Ray Leonard. So ever since then, he's also had a grudge against Sugar Ray Leonard. He had a chip on his shoulder because Sugar Ray Leonard, when he turned pro, his first debut fight was a moneymaker. He won like $5,000 for his pro debut, and that sort of money was a lot back then. While Aaron Pryor, who when he turned pro really didn't attract much attention, and he had to fight for basically $50 a fight, which wasn't much. So it still isn't much. I mean, you can't even. You gotta pay your corner, you gotta pay the expenses and all that. You won't even make money for yourself. But anywho. So Aaron Pryor had to make a name for himself again. He was a name in the amateurs, but now he had to make himself a name in the pros. And the pros is a different game, but nonetheless he succeeded to just dominate. He never got his chance to face Sugar Ray Leonard. A lot of people think Sugar Ray Leonard dodged Aaron Pryor as much as he could. But Aaron Pryor was a man who when he wanted something, he would go look for it. So he went to Sugar Ray Leonard's press conferences and took the mic and started saying, Sugar, you should just fight me, man up, blah, blah, blah. I'm here to make a payday, and you want some money too, so just man up and fight me. Sugar Ray Leonard, in front of everybody who were witnesses, would just say, hey, this is my show, pal. You own this place, I do, blah, blah, blah. So Sugar Ray Leonard, in front of everybody, just dismissed Aaron Pryor and didn't even comment on any opportunity of fighting Aaron Pryor or any chance that there were going to be a fight. Aaron Pryor was disappointed nonetheless, and he really just felt like he was never given the chance to prove himself against a guy like Sugar Ray Leonard. A lot of people say Sugar Ray Leonard was afraid of Aaron Pryor. A lot of people say he wasn't. He had bigger fish to fry, such as Roberto Duran, Thomas Hearns, and Marvin Hagler. Even people say that since amateurs, Sugar Ray Leonard has been dodging Aaron Pryor, such as when Sugar Ray Leonard fought in the Olympics. A lot of people think he went up to 141 to avoid the 130s where Aaron Pryor was at. Of course, we will never know for sure. I read the book, The Big Fight by Sugar Ray Leonard, and he doesn't even mention much about it there. So honestly, maybe he'll come out with the truth soon enough, just like how Sugar Ray Leonard came out finally in his book that his trainer molested him or something. So we expect the truth from Sugar Ray Leonard before it's too late. So I want to talk now about Alexis Arguello. Alexis Arguello is a Nicaraguan-born fighter who, at the time, had an amateur career of 6 losses, 10 wins, or something like that. It was just a pathetic amateur career. Not to say it's pathetic. I don't mean to say pathetic. I'm sorry. It was just not like a remarkable amateur career, just like Aaron Pryor's. No one's amateur career is pathetic, in my opinion. I'm sorry to say that. You have to respect fighters for fighting. I mean, no matter if they haven't won a fight yet, the fact that they fight is remarkable, and I'm sorry for saying pathetic. Sorry. So Alexis Arguello, in my opinion, he was very daring to turn pro with with an amateur record such as that one. I myself wouldn't turn pro with an amateur record such as that, but on the other hand, I'm not Alexis Arguello. Alexis Arguello at that time was very poor. He lived in a third world country. He had to make a living by fighting because as a professional you get paid. So his means to make ends meet was by fighting professionally, making money for himself. But the thing is, Alexis Arguello is a quick learner. He did lose his first professional fight, but after that, he did not lose much after all. He started winning many fights by knockout, and in fact, he became champion of the world by knocking out Ray Mancini, who was just a great fighter as well. And the thing about Alexis Arguello is that many people consider him the gentleman of the sport. A lot of people think he was the kindest, most humblest man to ever box. He would kick your ass and then go up to you and be like, hey, sorry, thank you for the chance. I mean, you're a great man, you're a great fighter. Don't hesitate to ask me for any help if you ever need some. He went up to Ray Mancini after he knocked him out and was like, hey, you're a great man. Thank you for this opportunity. It's an honor to have fought you, and don't hesitate to ask me for help from you or for your father or anything. So Alexis Arguello was very kind to everybody, especially those he fought. And another thing about Alexis Arguello was just his fighting style. Alexis Arguello was considered the perfect boxer because, and my trainer tells me this, I should fight more like Alexis Arguello because I tend to have the habit of dropping my hands. So when I drop my hands, my trainer tells me pick him up, and he wants me to be more like Alexis Arguello because Alexis Arguello kept his hands always right here, so you just couldn't touch his chin. Alexis Arguello never, for him, dropping his hands would just, his reaction would just be to pick him up. So Alexis Arguello was considered the perfect boxer because, one, he kept his hands up. Two, the thing about boxing is when you throw a punch and you're on the offense, you always have a vulnerable spot. So Alexis Arguello was perfect at exposing these vulnerable spots, which is sort of hard if you're not skilled in the art of boxing. Alexis Arguello was, of course, and anytime an opponent would throw a punch, Alexis Arguello would just bank on it and knock you out at the given opportunity he had. So Alexis Arguello was good at what he did. He was considered the perfect boxer at the time, and while Aaron Pryor was climbing through the ranks, Alexis Arguello was champion already. And Aaron Pryor, I gotta talk about how Aaron Pryor used to fight. Aaron Pryor was one of those typical black guys that time who were boxing and doing well, who had a groove to his fight. He had swag. He was just like Sugar Ray Leonard, who, when he fought, he used to dance around the ring and throw a lot of D's, bolo punches and crap. And just like Muhammad Ali was a fighter who was swag with a groove to him and with a certain just pizzazz, Aaron Pryor had a lot of it. Aaron Pryor was a very confident fighter. I don't want to say cocky. A lot of people say he was cocky, and a lot of people don't like him because he was cocky. But in my opinion, the thing about boxing is that you have cocky men all the time. Boxing is a cocky sport. Boxing is a trash-talking sport. If you don't like boxing for its trash-talking, then you're in the wrong sport, because all the greatest fighters were basically trash talkers. You have Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Robinson even. They were all cocky men because they were confident, and I don't think confidence is at all a problem. So Aaron Pryor was confident in himself and his abilities. So the thing about Aaron Pryor versus Alexis Arguello was that when it was made, the world was like, "Holy cow! I wonder what's gonna happen between these two great fighters." It's definitely an interesting clash of styles. Aaron Pryor was the hard-hitting, fast-hitting, combination-given guy, with fast feet, fast hands, and he was known to knock everybody he fought out. He had like 30 wins and 29 by knockouts, and undefeated at the time. While Alexis Arguello, he was also a knockout artist, but he had much more fights. He had like 89 wins and something 70 or 60 knockouts, a couple losses here and there, but he was champion and he was doing well. At the time, though, Alexis Arguello was going through political turmoil in Nicaragua. Nicaragua was facing a civil war. There was the communists versus the government, and Alexis Arguello ended up being exiled. So he had to leave Nicaragua, move to the United States, and there he had to just focus on his career. At the time, it's hard to focus on your career because there's so much going on in your hometown. You have to worry about your family and stuff. So obviously, this had to be an effect on Alexis Arguello. So certainly, he must have lost sleep on it. And when you lose sleep, you can't concentrate on what you do during your day, which of course is going to be boxing for him. So of course, it's going to have a negative effect on Alexis Arguello. But at the time, he could not worry too much. He had to focus on fighting Aaron Pryor when he was given the opportunity to. Aaron Pryor saw this as his biggest chance to finally make a name for himself. He wasn't given Sugar Ray Leonard. He was given Alexis Arguello, which at the time was his next best choice. So everybody was anticipating, everybody was excited, and the day of the fight happened. The crowd was pro Alexis Arguello. Everybody was chanting Arguello, Arguello, while Aaron Pryor was the underdog, and he was just standing in his corner. And when the announcer came, Aaron Pryor got very pissed off, and he tells us why in a segment of Legendary Nights. He was being interviewed, and he said, "That announcer, man, he pissed me the fuck off," because the announcer, when he introduced Aaron Pryor, all he said was, "Introducing in this corner, Aaron the Hawk Pryor," And then when he went to Alexis Arguello's corner, he's like, "In this corner, here we have Mr. Alexis Arguello." So he referred to him as Mr., but he didn't refer to Aaron Pryor as Mr. So that pissed Aaron Pryor off. That Aaron Pryor wanted to just knock Arguello the fuck out and make sure no one ever called him Mr. again. So Aaron Pryor already had a chip off his shoulder, and this was turning into a grudge match without any of them really wanting to make it into a grudge match. So the Hawk in one corner and the gentleman, the most chivalrous boxer in the other. And when the two finally met, when the bell rang, Aaron Pryor came out just as usual, just fainting, and then suddenly boxing, landing heavy blows, fast blows. Alexis Arguello keeping his hands up, absorbing the blows, and then he thought that Aaron Pryor would take the early rounds, which it happened. Aaron Pryor was landing the most shots, and he wanted to end the fight quick, which is usually what he likes to do. Alexis Arguello, though, being his most notable opponent to date, was just hard to knock out. He had a granite chin, so he no doubt would take it to the later rounds. And a lot of people speculated that if Alexis Arguello were to take the whole fight to the championship rounds, which were rounds 13, 14, and 15, Alexis Arguello would no doubt win the fight. So the first rounds, again, Aaron Pryor was winning the rounds, landing the best shots. Then when it came to the middle rounds, the stamina was reaching an equilibrium, and Alexis Arguello started landing more shots. And he landed one shot that Aaron Pryor was interviewed, and he said he thought his head was almost taken off. So he went back to his corner, and he started realizing that he's getting hit more than he would like to. And this was like around the 8th round. Then, if you guys know of a man called Panama Lewis, if you ever seen Assault in the Ring, Panama Lewis was the trainer for Aaron Pryor. And the thing about Panama Lewis was he was a very famous trainer at that time. He was like, say, a Virgil Hunter nowadays, a Freddie Roach nowadays. He had his own group of fighters, which were good fighters, such as Roberto Duran and Aaron Pryor. So I need to end this video because it's about to end, but I'll continue it in the second part. Be sure to tune in, and thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys.